can't second guess what's going on inside the head of a criminal like Mkhwanazi. But the reality of the situation is he's overstepped his mark. It's not the job of a provincial commissioner to start accusing the government, the judiciary, the National Prosecuting Authority, and the Minister of Police, for that matter, of being criminals. And that's what he did today. And I want to see that man fall, and the sooner the better.
So, guys, I guess it was expected after the revelations that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made on Sunday that there was going to be a pushback. There was going to be some sort of a campaign to discredit the general. Because I remember the ANC reacted after the press conference on Sunday, and the first reaction that I saw from the ANC was from the ANC Youth League President Colin Malachi, basically accusing the general of being a populist and saying that the days of populism are over. The days of populism are over, and we want the general to arrest these people that he's talking about and not come here with the statements. We don't want the statements. This is what this guy said about the General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, basically ignoring the complexities of general just barging into somebody's office and arresting him. He says that, no, we don't want the statements. We want the general to actually arrest these people that he's actually talking about. Discrediting the general. And the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, said that what the general did has made this country to look like a banana republic. And we are not a banana republic. And Fikile Mbalula did an interview with ENCA, and he was quite concerned about the protocol, that the general did not follow the protocol. How can the general go out with this information? But then assured the people of this country that President Ramaphosa was going to deal with this. He was going to deal with this matter. And right now, one of the most viral clips is this clip of Paul O'Sullivan, basically calling General Mkhwanazi a criminal and saying that this guy, it was not his job. It was not his job to call out the corruption in the South African Police Service. It is not his job to accuse these people in top positions in government of being corrupt. And he wants to see that man fall, and the sooner the better. So there's been attacks on General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi since Sunday, but they were expected. I mean, even if you go on social media, man, you will see that the directors of the general have actually came with a strategy. And the strategy of theirs is simply to say, what if the general is wrong? Yes, we know that you guys admire the general because this guy, he puts his life on the line every day fighting hardened criminals in this country. But what if he's wrong on these issues? Because these things that the general is talking about, they have never been tested. So what if he's wrong? And I think it is it is a wise strategy on their part to come with this thing to actually make people think twice, because many people have actually came out to say that, I've never actually thought about the fact that these things that the general is speaking about, they've never been tested. But now that you are saying what if it's wrong, and we are people, none of us are perfect. What if the general is wrong? And this is the strategy that has been deployed by the detractors of the general. This is a strategy. But other people like Rutendo and other people like Paul O'Sullivan, they are not deploying that strategy. This guy basically told us how he feels about the general. And Rutendo also is going to say that, no, this guy is fish. This guy is fish.
This is General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, a man that South Africans love so much because he is killing criminals in KZN. They even love him more now that he's actually gone into the public domain and made allegations about how it is that there's so much corruption within the police force, the judiciary, the prosecutors, politicians, and the entire system of power within South Africa. He went to the public to make allegations about criminality without actually arresting those that are undertaking the crimes, yet he is the one that has power as a commissioner to arrest such people. Now,
But then, when you put it like that, you are ignoring the fact that there's a political play there. You're ignoring the fact that there's a political play. I'm sure there are people that the general actually wanted to arrest. And he knew that even if I arrest this person has connections with the people that are on top of me. And they're going to release him. So when you are accusing him of saying that, why didn't you do something about these criminals in the South African Police Service? Have you ever considered the political hands in all of this? Because this is what you must consider. That this guy is not only dealing with these people via the law. There are political consequences on the side. And there are people connected with these people politically. And there's nothing that you can do as just a commissioner of KZN police. There's nothing you can do. There are people that are way higher than you. And when these people say this is what is going to happen, what can you do? What can you do? I mean, like, I think this is why he actually came out to the public, because I'm sure he was quite frustrated by the internal processes, because he knows that internally things are not moving. Internally things are not moving. But it sounds like Rutendo didn't even consider that.
I want to understand a few things. That if Mkhwanazi was so good at his job, has he reduced crime in KwaZulu-Natal? Because I come from a country where we have zero tolerance for criminality, and criminals all across the continent know not to come into our country to screw up, because they understand that they will not get away with crime.
So this guy, when he's talking about his country, he's talking about Zimbabwe, no, guys? He's talking about Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, we have zero tolerance for criminality. Yeah, right.
But we did not achieve that by shooting criminals to death. We achieved it by making sure that we've got a very...
I mean, like, can Rutendo actually realize that he's in South Africa actually speaking about the matters of South African government? And this is something that he cannot do about the government of Zimbabwe. Do you think that Rutendo can actually go out and start discrediting a general in Zimbabwe? Do you think this guy can do videos actually discrediting the generals in Zimbabwe? I don't think he can do that. He knows that Mnangagwa is not playing that game. He knows that Mnangagwa is not playing that game. And this is what we see with many people that are coming outside of this country. Like, they come into this country and they start yapping about the affairs of this country. And when people say that, please focus on your own country, they start insulting those people. But this is what we are dealing with as South Africans. This is exactly what we are dealing with. There's people coming from Zimbabwe, Angola, and all of these places to come and lecture us.
Solid intelligence gathering system, and also a very powerful and educated investigative team that can create dockets that when they go to the judiciary, they are very difficult for prosecutors and the judiciary to not find the people guilty. So people don't get away with crime in my country, but we do not achieve that by shooting them to death. We also do not achieve that by going to the public to report criminality.
So guys, do we have criminals in Zimbabwe that are shooting at the police? Do we have the criminals in Zimbabwe that are shooting at the police as much as we have the criminals that are shooting at the police in South Africa? And what do you want the police to do when they are being shot at? What is it exactly do you want the police to do? Because now he's even discrediting the work that Mkhwanazi has done in KZN, despite the people in KZN saying that we are thankful. We are thankful. And the criminals in KZN, they know that, man, if General wants you, man, you better hand yourself in. You better hand yourself in. But if you are going to go against Mkhwanazi because him and his team have actually gone down tons and tons of criminals, and saying that in your country we fought crime, but we didn't do it by shooting people. Please compare the scenarios. Compare the scenarios. And try to see if you have many criminals in Zimbabwe shooting at the police like the criminals are shooting at the police in this country.
Within the system. Our police officers and crime fighters arrest criminals irrespective of whoever they are and put them into prison. Hence, there is no crime. But here's the very big problem. Mkhwanazi was part of the executive leadership of the South African police for probably close to 20 years. And the question is, when he was part of the management of the police, what did this man do to ensure that they hired the right people, they had an intelligence system, they had investigators who know what they're doing, and eliminating and weeding out these criminals that he's now talking about? What did he do about weeding out corrupt judges and corrupt politicians and the corrupt syndicates that he is talking about for the past 20 years for him to be complaining today?
I mean, like, the question is, was it even possible for him to actually do that? Was it even possible? Do you guys think that if it was possible for the general to weed out this corruption in the South African Police Service on his own, do you think the general was going to come out in the press and to complain about these things? If it was possible for the guy to do it by himself and saying that I know they are politicians, I know that they are members of parliament, I know that they are drug cartels and they are all of these mafias, and I can take all of these people down by themselves, do you think that General Mkhwanazi would have come out to the media and told the people of this country? Don't you think that he actually tried to do that? Like I said earlier on, but the internal processes are not moving. Don't you think that? Because I think this is such a lazy attempt at discrediting the general. This is just a lazy attempt. Because clearly, with the things that you are saying, you are not thinking of the scenario holistically. You are not.
And here's what is really problematic. He decided to racialize crime and to make crime about race or nationality when he said that the problem of crime in South Africa is a black problem.
No, he did not say it's a black problem. Guys, General Mkhwanazi did not say it is a black problem. He said that the black men are the ones that are committing crimes the most. And he was also reading us the statistics, saying, guys, we have arrested 100,000 people. And on this 100,000, 96,000 of these people are black men. He was talking about different crimes. And he was talking about the number of people that have been caught committing those crimes. And he said, you can see here, many people that we are arresting are black people. He did not say it is a black problem, but he said that black men are the ones that are committing the crimes the most.
But we all know that the organized crime that brings in the drugs into South Africa, the one that starts from Western Cape, is not black. We know very well that the Western Cape has some of the most serious gang violence and organized violence because the white people who come from mafia groups, Italian mafia, the J mafia, the Russian mafia, all sorts of mafias, the Bulgarian mafias, are the people that are bringing in the drugs into this country because blacks in South Africa and Africa do not have the capacity to grow the cocaine plant. They do not have the capacity to grow the poppy seeds. They do.
How convenient, man. How convenient that you know of all of these things that needs to be grown as a black man, then still continues to say that black men do not have the capacity to do these things. So these drugs are bought by everybody besides a black man. They're bought by everybody besides a black man. But a black man tells you what needs to be grown. He tells you what needs to be grown. So clearly, according to this guy, there are no black criminals that are wealthy in this country. There are no black criminals that are actually big in this country. The black criminals are here, and the white criminals are there. How ironic that he's telling you about what needs to be grown.
Do not have the capacity to produce any of the drugs that are being taken in South Africa. So why doesn't Nhlanhla talk about the J Mafia, Italian Mafia, Russian Mafia, British Mafia? Why doesn't he talk about them? Why did he make it a black problem?
But you are conflating the issues. You are conflating the issues. He's totally conflating the issues, and he will confuse you if you are slow. He's totally conflating the issues. General Mkhwanazi, when he was speaking about the crimes that are committed in this country, he was telling us about the number of black people that are committing these crimes and saying that it is black men that are committing the crimes the most. And also Mkhwanazi, when he spoke about the syndicates, he never mentioned any syndicate by name. He never mentioned syndicate by name. So for you to say that, no, the general is saying that the crime, it is a black problem, but he's not talking about these syndicates that are owned by white people, these German and whatever syndicates. The general never spoke about a particular syndicate and actually called it by its name. He never said that. But now he's conflating the issues. Because this issue of black men committing most crimes and actually being arrested and the police having this data, it actually has nothing to do with the general speaking about these syndicates that are working with the politicians. It has nothing to do with that. But he's trying to make them one.
Firearms that go into gangland have been said to be coming from white police officers and foreign organized criminals. Why didn't he talk about those? Then he condemned the entire police force and talked about how it is that he's working with private security companies, many of which are foreign and belong to Western military wings or military companies that go and fight wars and kill brown and black people all across the continent. The ADTs are not South African. Companies like Fidelity are not South African. The G4S is actually a military company of the British. And there are many that belong to Mossad too. Why doesn't he denounce them, and why does he want to fight crime with foreign companies, and many of which associated to organized crime during apartheid that brought drugs into black communities?
So they are the ones that bought drugs. Okay. This is what we have to deal with. This is what we have to deal with as South Africans. This. Oh. Hi guys, sometimes it's hard, man, to listen to these popular political pundits with a straight face. I don't wanna lie, it's hard, almost impossible. But again, I guess that the attacks were actually expected. They were expected. They were expected. They are trying to make South Africans to think twice about General Mkhwanazi. Do you think they will succeed? I don't know. Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.